Hello again, back to something a little bit more traditional, a Cabernet from Napa. This is a Forman by Rick Forman, the proprietor, a 2007 Cabernet. Forman is really one of the grand old names of Napa. If you want, forget it. I mean, this is a region, it doesn't have hundreds of years of history. But he established his winery in 1983. Before that, starting late 60s, after graduating from UC Davis, of course, he worked at Mondavi, he worked with Sterling, he worked with Newton, he worked with Ebreur, and he developed really deep relationships, and he learned a lot. He even worked in Bordeaux for a couple of years, so he got that sensitivity for the Bordeaux blend, if you want. And this is a Bordeaux blend. This is, like a left bank blend. It's 75% Cabernet, 15% Cabernet Franc, then 5 and 5 of Merlot and Petit Verdot. So Rick bought his vineyard, his property in 1983. After buying some vineyards before that, and he built the winery. It was a really tough area, right in the foothills of Mount Howell, at the top of St. Helena. Coming onto Rutherford. And he even had to use some dynamite to kind of excavate some of the vineyards to have them. They're not terraced, they're just on a hill. He built cellars in the rock that sort of go down 10 floors where the wines are aged naturally for a couple of years. He used the rocks he excavated to build the winery. So really, he basically built the winery and the wines out of and into the side of the mountain and the soil, if you want. His wines have been fine, well known, and really well established for a very long time. He makes this Cabernet from 3 different vineyards that are all around the thing. So the blend is this blend of varietals and vineyards, and he makes a Chardonnay that's very well liked because he was one of the pioneers of basically skipping malolactic fermentation for Chardonnay and having it ferment a little bit also in the barrel. So he makes and he uses some oak. So he has a distinctive Chardonnay that I have not tasted. Anyway, something funny happened. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I found a 1997 bottle of Forman in my cellar. I said, hey, what the heck? I had not tasted that before. Let me try it. And it was just so just integrated, so balanced, so fine that I really decided, wow, I like this property. Let me get some more stuff. So over the years, I was looking for more Forman. I bought a few. 2007, which this is one of. 2007 was a great year in Napa. But again, as many great years in Napa, you could end up with a bit of something that's a bit overdone from a fruit and a ripeness point of view. So let's see what we have here. Just opened this today. It's been a couple of hours. We're gonna have this with dinner. Anyway, looking at the color, it's just really, it's a very, very dark Cabernet color. What you expect. So just on the look, you think it's really 100% Cabernet, but we know that this is a blend. The nose is typical Bordeaux, left bank. You've got the cassis, you've got the little bit of violet, on the floral note. You've got blackberries I get on this, so a little bit more sweetness than the typical Bordeaux. You do get also some of the just faint, cherry, and a little bit of that alcoholic, streak that goes through it, that gives it a little bit of that hard candy note. This is 14.8% alcohol. We're talking 15 years ago, so it's quite a bit of alcohol. But it just really just puts a smile on your face. This is like, wow, this is really just a great Cabernet. I'm looking forward to drinking this, and that's exactly the impression it gives you. It's really powerful still. We're talking, takes over the whole palate, left, right, up, down. You feel it in all, on the inside of your cheeks. Not necessarily because it's very tannic, but you just have this coat of tannin that's very fine, that really fills the mouth. On the finish, it's a little bit of the fruit that stays. So the finish is more fruit and a bit of acidity, which is great, for a wine that is made to be drunk with food. I say it again, it really reminds me of a top-notch left bank Bordeaux, but with a little bit more emphasis on the fruit. So, I mean, with these wines, it's always that sort of a tug of war between the fruit and the restraint and the discretion, I would call it, in the Bordeaux blends over time, not when they're very young. Bordeaux. This is, and Napa always sometimes struggles with some of the not so fine properties with that balance. They tend to be on the fruit really too much. This is another one that's found its balance. It's perfectly integrated. It's got the tension between the two, but if I had to say, I would say a little bit more on the fruit at the end, but just a little more. So it gives it that special Napa accent, which is great because you don't want to drink a Napa wine that tastes just like a Bordeaux. Anyway, cheers. We're going to enjoy this with dinner, and see you soon.